Some of you will have read the Herald this morning. Judge gets tough on violence, right? He's talking about some guys who committed a home invasion. They held a chainsaw, revving it up to the guy's neck and threatened to cut his head off. That judge had 14 years available to give the offender. He said he's getting tough. He'd give him 5. But one thing you guys out there need to understand, that judge will come under enormous pressure on Monday because he's made a statement. That judge will not be promoted anymore. In fact, he will start being demoted because he stepped out. You need to understand the way the system works in Wellington, how it moulds these judges, how it keeps them in order. I say that's wrong, and we're going to change that. People, over 1,000 people have been murdered since Norm Withers' mother was violently assaulted in Christchurch. Over 1,000 people murdered since Norm got motivated for the law and order referendum that the politicians ignored. 92% of the voters supported a call for harsher penalties for violent crime and a better deal for victims. The incoming Labour government said we didn't understand the question. And while trying to con the public that they were going to get tough on crime, they did the opposite. They reduced parole eligibility to 1/3, and they instructed judges to give the least sentence appropriate. You don't call that getting tough. The token gesture to so-called victims' rights was worthless. As I said, over 1,000 people have been murdered since that. And as we read in the paper today, those who are committing our child abuse and murdering our children have still got the right to silence. Still got the right to silence. We've got a lot to change yet. The last 8 years has been an amazing journey for us, and we've got a lot of changes, and I thank many of our sensible Sentencing Trust supporters that are out there. Because one person like me couldn't have made a difference, but thousands of people like you that have joined us can, and I thank you for that. But National got elected, thank you, I appreciate that. National got elected last year promising to get tough on law and order. But now, what do we see? They're watering down David Garrett's 3 Strikes bill to make it a worthless drivel. When they have finished diluting it, it will not be worth the paper it's written on. They call that getting tough? And yet every poll that I have seen in this country says that the public of New Zealand do not want violent criminals on the street. We do not want violent criminals on the street. Nan Withers was 71 when she was beaten by Harry Hogamay. He had 40 previous offences. He got parole. That enabled him to beat Nan Withers. Guess what? He got parole again. And guess what? He's since committed another offence, taken a firearm, an armed burglary, threatened to kill 2 guys. Now he's back in jail. But because of our crazy law, he will get parole again. Absolutely incredible in my opinion. But as we stand here today, 10 years after the law and order referendum, I think it's ironic that I just read in the paper that we've got a youth offender who beat up an 85-year-old veteran, a guy who went away to fight in the war for you and I so we could live in a free country. This guy got beaten virtually to death. He broke his jaw and he was not expected to live. The mongrel that did that, or should I say the client of the Corrections Department, if I want to be PC, the mongrel that did that, also with a long history of previous offences, got sentenced on Thursday. He got 8 years and will be eligible for parole at 1/3 of that. We've got a long way to go, people, until we are serious about yours and my safety. But I promise you, we're here for a long, long time yet. But haven't the politicians learnt yet? Haven't they learnt what you want? I want to ask you guys, I want the vote to be put back to you. Do you want to be protected from violent offenders? Thank you, I appreciate that. 92% of voters supported the law and order referendum. Over 1,000 murders since. I think it's pretty obvious that we understood the question. And now we understand the problem. You've only got one politician with the guts and the passion to be here today, John Boscawen. Thank you. I want to just ask you one more question. Do you want a 3 Strikes bill to remove the repeat offender? Thanks. I appreciate your time. The journey's only just beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Garth. Kids, you have been fantastic. This has been a family event today, and I hope you've enjoyed everything. We've got one more quick speech, and then we've got an item by Yulia. Get those cards out, though. They serve two purposes. Firstly, they're a free postcard.
Again, thank you for being here. I've already been asked today, what happens next? Gee, we had a referendum. We had 3 referendums. We voted in those referendums. Nothing happened. The truth is, your vote isn't enough anymore. As the majority, we've sat back and expected it to happen, and it isn't. Today in front of you is a March's statement on your card. I want to read that very briefly. At the end, I will ask you whether or not you agree with that statement. We, the citizens of New Zealand, affirm the people of New Zealand are to be valued and respected as individuals who count in a democratic society. We, the citizens of New Zealand, demand the government employ the principle of democracy, enacting laws in accordance with the wishes of the majority. Accordingly, we demand immediate amendment of the law so that a parent correcting a child with a light smack will not be committing a criminal offence. We also demand that the wishes of the citizens expressed in prior referendums by a clear majority be honoured. Ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with this statement? I'm sorry, they are very deaf in Wellington. Do you agree with this statement? And shall we take this statement and deliver it to John Key? Yes, we shall. I want to finish by saying you have taken a further step today than just voting. You have voted with your feet. It takes effort. I want to tell you something amazing that's happened in the last 3 weeks. Around this country, people are getting together and they are emailing me, they are writing to me, and they are saying, bring the march to my town. My town wants democracy too. We've heard from Hamilton, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin, Whangarei and Tauranga. Tauranga not to be forgotten.